Greeting from SEGi College, Sarawak. My name is Gyaji, and I will be the moderator for this webinar session. Thank you to all of you for willing to spend extra hour of your time to participate in this webinar session. Today's topic is about identifying and supporting teens with emotional issues. Let me share with all of you the general content of our topic today. Young people, like adults, experience stress. As the teens going through numerous transitions, the pressure and problem they encounter can be very overwhelming. But how can we identify them? What can we do as a parent or a teacher to support our children? So together with us today is Ms. Josephine Law. Hi, Ms. Josephine. Okay, so our speaker today is a registered and certified counselor for information under Malaysia Board of Counseling. And she is currently working as a full-time counselor at Kuching Grade Center. She is passionate in providing guidance and counseling services to public, including teenagers. And she is also one of the guest speakers of Red FM program and columnist of Sinju Daily. So without further much ado, let's welcome Ms. Josephine. Are you ready? Okay, so over to you, Ms. Josephine.
All right, thank you for having me today, and welcome to all the viewers. No matter you are teenagers or any other age group, experiencing emotion is something very common that every one of us will do every day. So if you come here for the purpose to learn for others or to help others, I hope that you can also get some insight for your own at the end as well. So back to our topics today, identifying and supporting teens with emotional issues. Speaking of the teenagers, they are no longer a child, but not yet an adult. So they are going to preparing themselves to be ready from their body, their spiritual, or their mind to be able to make their own decisions to become an independent adult. So in this time, who am I is a question that they're always thinking all the time. From their physical image, the comments from the other persons, and their performance, they define themselves. So if we can't understand this, so we are not going to know that how the comments from the others or even the words from our mouths mean so much to them. But we just keep telling them to not be so sensitive or don't take it so serious. So self-exploration is a stage that always changing, ever-changing stage. Teenagers experience numerous distractions and rebuilds, self-doubts, frustrations, testing, and setbacks in order to have better understandings of who they are, what they want out of life, what they love to do, what the career path they intend to work, and even how the relationship they're eager for to look like. So all these answers are always changing from time to time. Even we as adults or someone more senior than these teenagers, along the journey of our lives, it always teaches us something. From the lesson, we always get ourselves something new about our own. And so did the teenagers. Nowadays, zero tolerance policy not only being practiced in workplace, but it's subtly going into our personal life that we are not aware of it. In the cases I received, find that the intervention from parents to their children on getting them the famous school, the popular university, getting them the best tuition teachers, or asking them to make friends with those high academic achievers, or even getting them a good spouse in the future, all of these are not telling the teenagers that they are capable or they are worth to own a good one or the better one. But what most the teenagers feel is that they have to be the better one or even the best. They are not allowed to have other possible outcomes except the better one. Imagine they are living in an atmosphere with low frustrations, tolerance, mistakes, failures. Not only teenagers, I think we all are. When we are too afraid to make mistakes and try our best to avoid. At the same time, we are losing the ability to face failure and recovering from it. So, when teenagers face frustration from the difficulties, they are haunted with complicated feelings such as feeling of being rejected, feeling of bad of themselves, sense of useless, and so on. So the side product leave behind other emotional issues. Let's see where do emotions come from and how this happens. When external stimulus hits us, which is an incident happened to us, it goes through our interpretations, and this interpretation is based on our belief and the value that usually make up from our religions or from our perception as a result of how we see, how we experience the world. Then it activates the uncomfortable emotional response based on our past experience. For example, a teenager, let's say Alex, every time during lecture he is sitting at the back of the lecture hall, just want to not be noticed by the lecturer and been throw question to him to answer, because every time he will feel uneasy or nervous to answer question in front of the others, because this reminded him back to his primary seats. He answered wrong the question and he was seen so full and teased by his classmate at that time. So when the similar incident comes up, will activate him to have the emotions again. And beside emotions response, we also have behavior response. And we have common three patterns: aggressive, assertive, and non-assertive. For non-assertive, we usually have two typical types, which are avoidant and pleaser type. If we look more into it, you will see what is your desire. And this desire leading you to have all these responses. Desire is something we need, something matter to us the most, or even your pursuit. For example, let's again, his need is to get the affirmations from others in order to know that he is being loved and success. So when people come to him, always ask him favor to do something for them. In his belief, the cognitive part, yes, he always want to measure that he is being liked by everyone, and he has to show good image in front of people. Therefore, he was afraid to refuse. Even it is not within his responsibility, he will still accept. But at the end, maybe he might turn to feel angry inside and maybe avoid getting close with the friends again. So for this example, I hope you at least can get some picture about how this going on. And since today's topic is about emotion, so I will focus on the emotion parts. When we look into emotion, it has two levels, which are primary emotions and secondary emotions. Primary emotion is the feeling of your first reaction to what has happened, while secondary emotion is how you feel towards your primary emotions, just like the example I showed to you just now. Firstly, Alex is experiencing fear of being rejected by his friends, and this is his primary emotions. And it turns to angry, which is the secondary emotions, feeling that maybe he was being used by his friends. Secondary emotions are always being used to conceal our true feeling, because human beings are too afraid to show our real insight to people in order to protect ourselves. Anger and sadness are the common feelings shown by people to conceal their real feeling, which is the primary emotions. For example, let's say the couples go out dating to celebrate their first anniversary, and during the dinner, maybe the boyfriend keep playing his phone with his friends, and what the girlfriend might experience is she is feared that if she is man important to her boyfriends, or she will lose him in the future. So this fear is referred to her primary emotions. But what she shows out is the angry feeling. And she shows this angry in different forms of behavior response. Like maybe suddenly she become quiet, she become passive, ignorant, and she did not want to talk to her boyfriends or didn't reply message and so on. So we have to think that why we tend to replace our real feelings with the secondary emotions such as anger and sadness, these two feelings, because these feelings could help us to gain control to get what we want. For example, if she shows angry response, it will help her to let the boyfriend notice that, oh, she now is angry. So maybe the boyfriend have to do some things to comfort her or maybe show his love to her. So this is actually what she wants at the end. And another case, in my domestic violence case, usually angry is the weapon used by the husband on controlling his wife, just to conceal his fear of losing his spouse or any other feelings behind. Imagine today if the husband in the state of primary emotions, which is fear of losing his wife, instead of in the state of angry, would there be any difference in his behavior response? Definitely yes. If he could realize and stay at the primary emotions, definitely his behavior wouldn't be this aggressive anymore. So what I want to say is different emotions come up with different response. So what we can do now? What we can do is whenever we are experiencing an emotions, we can stop and rethink of the possible real feeling that lie behind our secondary emotions. And if we find out what is our primary emotions, can cut off between the secondary and the primary emotions. But now if you don't have any idea what is your real feeling, what is your primary emotions, so what you can do is ask yourself these fear questions. For example, what are you afraid that might happen? Why we have to ask these fear questions? This is because fear is a strong emotion that lies inside every one of us. If you want to be approved and being accepted, you will fear of rejections and afraid of getting into conflict. If you want power, then you will fear of humiliations. If you want intimacy, then you will fear of being alone. If you want sense of control, then you will fear of uncertainty. If you can find out your primary emotions, your problem already half solved. But it doesn't mean that you just stop here, because it doesn't help you if your unhelpful behavior is not turning to a helpful one. Next, what you need to do is evaluate your behavior by asking yourself, are what you're doing now really help you to deliver your true feeling? Or it just creates even more misunderstandings and hurting in between you and the people around you. So these are what we can do to raise your emotional awareness. It doesn't matter if you have no idea of identifying emotional skill, since it is not a skill that could be learned in one day from a short sharing. Because what you can do actually is more than that. So now we are going to talk about the support part. Support means a lot to teenagers. What we can do about this support? Create opportunities for the teenagers, their emotions to be seen, be heard, and be shared. If you don't have any idea on identifying emotions, at least you can create the opportunities for them to share their emotions. It is important because the emotions are released only when the emotions are being shared. Always hearing from the parents complaining their teens children enjoy their personal time more than spending time with parents. Most of the teenagers, when coming to this stage, sometimes they might refuse the over intervene or the caring from their parents. Hoping parents out there wouldn't feel disappointed because they are actually not reject you as their parents. They just need personal space and personal time more than before. If you really worry about your teens children, what we can do is maintaining a good relationship with them from time to time by creating opportunity to engage with them. So here are 3 tips of creating opportunities with your teens children. First is having quality time. A good engaging requires quality time as condition. Although MCO seems to give us more time spending at home, it doesn't mean that we have more quality time. Some of you still have to carry out work from home, and your children still have to attend online courses. And now is our MCO. We have to back to work life like before. Therefore, deliberately scheduling parts of your time to be reserved for your children, for your family is very important. For example, you can have a family day during weekends, spending time together to carry out something together, like preparing meal together, watch movie together, or doing devotion and pray together if you are Christian, and so on. It doesn't matter on what activity carry out, but what matters is you all doing things together, you stay together. This is important because whenever your children want to talk to you, you are not always have the time to listen to them. In opposite, when we have time to do so, they might not having the right mood to talk to us. So you have to purposely to arrange a time between you and your teen children so that there won't be any other disturbed. This means the quality time. If spending time with children is not one of your priority in your list, but it is something that only been done when you have time to do so, then maybe you have to accept your current situation as a result of your commitment. So when you have time, second, come to the content part. What you can talk to them, besides from caring about their school academic, what topic you can chat with them, probably. Actually, your teens children are same as us. They start to face a lot of worries and challenges like interpersonal relationships, friendships, future career planning, and so on. As parents, you can take the initiative to share your own experience and story of how you have met the difficult situation in your past and how you adjust yourself to go through all the hardships. It is one of the ways to initiate a conversation. Even if from the first few attempts, maybe your children are not get used to talk to you. But if you persist to do for few more times, and based on family system theory, every family members that in the family that tend to maintain an equilibrium in the emotional currency involvement in relationship. For example, if you share with your children for many times, it means that every time you share about your story, you invest your emotions into the relationship. So many times you share, that means the more emotions you invest into the relationship. So it creates not balanced emotional currency in your relationship. So at the same time, also your teen children, in order to achieve the equilibrium, they will also try to share with you in order to invest their emotions into the relationship. So by sharing your experience openly in front of children, they will know that their feelings are allowed to be shared and their parents will accept who they are, either bad ones or good ones. So this creates a secure environment to them. Secure is important, just like what I shared before. People tend to conceal, to hide themselves because they feel insecure. So it deters honest and open communication in the relationship. Other than sharing your past experience, and maybe you can also try to talk about their childhood experience or your own childhood experience. How is your upbringing environment? Any fun things happens? For my family, in my family, when we all gathering together, we love to have this kind of relaxed and funny conversations because it brings us all connected in our past memories and bring out the sense of intimacy among us. So maybe you can try this out. And to the second point, aware your dialogue content. Some of you might find that you are difficult to have emotional connection with people around and feel hard to identify others' emotions. Probably you are the person who are not comfortable to share and reveal yourself to others. So aware your dialogue content. Are you a person feel comfortable to share your experience and feeling to other people? Or most of the time you are talking facts and do rational explanations more than talking feelings, even to your close friends or your spouse. If you are the second one, you have to aware that this might create a tense atmosphere to your surrounding and the people around you. They will feel a distance with you, especially if you are also doing the same at home. Your family members will indirectly receiving the message from you, telling that they are not allowed to talk feeling or revealing themselves to you. So indirectly it creates a distance between you and the people around you. So everyone will hide themselves, then their feelings to you. If you belong to this kind of interactions, you have to find out the reason behind why you would feel uncomfortable with feelings. So that whenever your teens children showing their emotions in front of you, you wouldn't feel it as a burden and want to avoid by starting to talk facts to them again. So the last one is the feedback. One of my clients, his mother bring him came to see me, complaining that her son's always telling lies to her. So after having conversation with his sons in the session, he said that he learns that if he tell truth to his mother, it always end up with bad experience, like getting punishment or being scolded by his mother. Once his mother asked him to write a homework without referring to the answer sheet at the last page of the exercise book. So coming to a question, the son doesn't know how to answer, so he came to his mother and asked for help. And the mother scolded him for so stupid that the question, sorry, I have to say this word because this is really what happens in the real life. His mother scolded him for stupid that this question is so easy to answer, but he couldn't answer too. So he goes back, these sons go back to the table and refer to the answer sheet at the back. So at the end, he was caught being lied by his mother. So from this case, what you can see is when teenagers, they're willing to talk, to open themselves and share with us, our feedback means important to them. Compared to them, knowing that we are a mature adult, and of course, our teens children, sometimes their perspective might appear to be immature to us. We have to be ready for sometimes they might have immature statements and perspectives. And remember, this is normal. When parents fail to realize that, they will always expect their teens children to talk and think like them as an adult. For example, they may not understand and accept the ideas of teen children and eventually end up by criticizing them or stopping them, refusing to hear from them, or even belittle them with some words. We still have to respect them by giving them opportunity to express their ideas, but not we say and they listen only. Enable a space to talk and discuss freely. If you find that the perspectives and behavior of them are inappropriate, you can give your reason of why you think that it is inappropriate and what you're concerned of. And together, you and your teen children achieve an agreement. We as adults sometimes have to learn to be tolerant with their immaturity. And remembering a mother bring her daughter see me. This daughter just reached her puberty maturity. During her second time of menses, she haven't learned how to handle the sanitary part. So her mother bring her to seek for counseling. Yes, just because of this reason. Her mother want me to change her daughter's personality for not being always mad mistake. She even planned to bring her daughter to see psychiatry. So I told the mother that her daughter is not having problem, but she just need your patience and giving her time to learn from mistakes. We as adults sometimes have to learn to be patient and tolerate with the temporary mistakes. So to the second point, when the teenagers come to you and they would like to talk to you, what probably can you do to encourage them talking more about themselves? So you can refer to these 5 sentences. First is show your appreciation and interest, encouraging and open up sharing. When they share their issue to you, you can respond like, for example, you can say thank you for your trust of telling me your very personal issue. Or maybe you can encourage them to talk more about themselves by having respond like, oh yeah, really? How does it happen? Can you tell me more about that? To show your interest of what that happens. So second, show your empathy and support. You can respond like this. After hearing what they say, maybe you notice they feel some things, you can say, oh, no wonder you are so worried about it. No wonder you feel sad about that. I think whoever in your situation, they would do or they would feel the same as you did. These are what you can do to show your empathy, your support to them. And the third, clarify their ideas and actions. And now you can ask, how are you going to deal with it? What would you do next in order to know what their actions next? So for the fourth sentence, find out their expectations. What do you want me to do? How can I help you? This is actually the time for us to show our offering to help to them. So the last one is, okay, now you can express your opinions. At this point, the suggestions given to teenagers are no longer telling them what they can do or what they can't do, but telling them why they can do this and why they can't do that. They need to know why. By doing so, at the same time, we are actually training them to have the capable of doing judgment. Giving them the chance to choose is also giving them the chance to learn to be responsible. Commonly, we find our conversation is unhelpful. This is because we tend to skip all these 4 questions and directly jump to the last one. So teenagers will refuse to talk to us. Imagine someone comes to you. He or she doesn't try to understand your situation, but directly jump to conclusions. How would you feel? Are you willing to listen to that person? Of course not. When people's emotions are not be seen, be heard, or be shared, it is too early to talk about problem yet. So the first 4 questions are actually helping us to direct their emotions out. So please remember these 4 questions before you go to the last questions. And last, if you can't remember what I talking for these whole sessions, it's okay. Just remember this one. Deal with emotion first, then problems. So that's all from me. So thank you for your times and thank you for your attentions. Now I over to Miss Un.
All right. Thank you, Miss Josephine, for your sharing. So indeed, adolescence is a unique and formative year. During this intense period of growth, it is helpful for parents as well as teachers to help their adolescents learn how to express and manage their emotions. Also, don't forget the 5 powerful sentences that could be helpful weapon in expressing empathy and providing guidance to your children. The number 1 is to show your appreciation and interest. Number 2, empathy and support. Number 3, clarify their idea and action. Number 4, find out their expectation. And number 5, express your opinion. So before we end the session today, Miss Josephine, do you have anything that you would like to say to our audience?
We can see the number of emotions problems are increasing significantly recent years. So what we always overlook on the emotional education or emotional management part is to educating our young generations, our teenagers, how they can see their failures, their frustration that happening in their lives as something they could face too. They can know that even they failed this time in certain parts, they still can see the other possibilities they have. So they are not gonna be knocked down just because of this part. They can see that they still have the other parts. So they can always see their value as a human being in any situations. So I think we can do something from this aspect on the emotional education to our young generations. Yes.
Josephine, thank you for your sharing this now. Actually, I have some question to ask you regarding the primary emotion and the secondary emotion. I'm so confused that what does it mean and then what's the difference? Could you please give us an explanation regarding this part?
For the primary emotions, is actually refer to the feelings, your first true feelings react to the things happen to you, the incident that happened to you. Usually, uh, primary emotions, the common one we can know is the shame, the feeling of being shamed, fear, and also hurt. And for the secondary emotions is refer to the feelings you feel towards the primary emotions. Like usually common one we can see is angry and also sadness. Yeah. Just like for example, if for a mother, maybe what her sons running out from her home. So for the first primary primary emotions for the mother at that moment maybe is fear and worry about her son. But maybe she shows the angry afterwards towards her son when her son comes back to home. And so this is one of the simple examples to differentiate between the primary emotions and the secondary emotions.
I see, which means we will not only have one emotion or feelings toward a situation.
Yeah,
Am I right?
Yes.
I
So
see.
different emotions also shows different response. Like if the mother should stay in the emotion, the secondary emotions, like in the state of anger, of course, the way she treat her son would be maybe aggressive one. Like what I have shared in the slide just now. Still remember the three common pattern of the behavior. One is the aggressive way. So maybe she will scold her son. But if she stay, she know that she realized that actually the true feelings towards her son is fear or worry about her son. So the way she respond will be different. Maybe will be in a kind of more gentle, yeah, maybe caring about her sons. Yes, so
I see. So basically, the parents or the teachers they have to be more supportive to the teenagers. Am I right?
yeah, yes.
I see.
Mm.
Here I have another question for you. So regarding supporting the teenagers, I think many parents are desperately to what you say to create opportunity to talk to their children, but sometimes the children or the teenagers they don't want to open up themselves. What can we do to like create an opportunity to talk to them?
Yeah, it's really common things happens to our teenager, especially in the education settings. This is because in the in the school settings, the backgrounds they already have the mindset. They see the teachers' roles. If you didn't refer them to the count, usually would suggest if you find that you have the students having some emotional issue, we suggest you refer to your school counselor better than you yourself. Because if you are the teacher who teaching the subject, one of the subject teacher, maybe from their sides they will think that they don't have the trust to you. Because remember, this is very private issues, and still remember that teenagers are the ones who very care about the comments from the others and also the affirmation from their peer. So imagine if the teenagers, he or she, that just reveal something, their very private issues to that their class teachers, and they will fear of what happens if his very private issue maybe spread in the classroom or even in that school. So usually we will suggest to refer to the counseling school teachers. And what the subject teacher, of course the subject teacher can do some things to help them, is by help the school counselor to identify which students maybe they have the symptoms of having this kind of emotional issues. Maybe they can from uh, their for example, at their academic performance, having a drastic changes. And the second one is from their uh, absence. Absence. If the frequency of the absence is really high, so maybe the teacher can notice about that. Yes. So, and also one of the common things that the teachers usually they will only focus on the students who are very naughty, who are always messing up in the classrooms, but they tend to uh, overlook for those who are appear to be very, how to say, passive and quiet in the classrooms. So actually those also, for those also the population that the teachers have to notice to more keep an eye on that.
Thank you, Josephine. Can I ask another one question?
Yeah.
So it's actually regarding the emotional issue here. I'm actually curious, what does that emotional issue mean?
In emotional,
Yeah.
emotional issues. Mean emotional, of course, experiencing emotions is very common things that everyone of us will do. But in case if these emotions already like over disturb your normal daily life to carry out your normal daily functions, like you can't sleep well or even you can't eat well, having some like what we say mental health symptoms, or even you just uh, having yourself distant from the other, you just like what we can say, like you just like lock yourself inside the rooms. These are, you already disturb, already have an effect on your daily routines. So I think this is already up to the level to the, can be considered as an emotional issues or problems.
So it seems like emotional issue is considered as normal as long as it doesn't disturb your normal, your daily life. Am I right?
Yes.
So is there any indicator that we can identify whether the students or the teenagers is experiencing emotional issues, or whether they are experiencing mental disorder? Like what you said just now, they keep absence from school.
Mhm.
And then the other one is they might have, what we say, isolate themselves from the people. Is there any other indicator?
It means indicators for the teenagers, especially for the teenagers.
Yes.
Uh, what common things is isolations is now you say isolations and also like their normal daily life. And also one of the, I think the common things is if for the teenagers still in the schooling teenagers, is they're afraid, especially for the recent case I received. Most of the time is they feel very fear to go to the school. Yeah, quite. Um, especially most of the time, like their friendships, relationships. Yeah, relationships really affects them, especially for the teenagers populations, until they can like they feel very fear to school. Even uh, their mothers also bring them to see for any counseling. So this is a recent case I noticed that quite popular.
Okay, actually, I was quite surprised. I mean, shocked by your sharing just now because the teenagers don't want to go to school because
Mhm.
of friendship issue. Because I thought that academic issue or getting punished by the teacher will be more serious.
Mhm.
But it seems like it's not true. So could you please share more about it? Why they are so, we say, uh, why friendship is so important to them?
Okay, yes, friendship is really important to the teenagers because in this stage they really they start to find their self identity and how they define themselves most of the times from the comments or from their just like what I shared just now, their physical image and also their performance. And so and also one of the things is they really want to find a belonging, sense of belongings. So at this time, friendships really means important to them. Once like they find the belongings, they have the belongings from their peer, it gives them a sense of security.
Which means the sense of belonging from the friendship is quite unique to them,
Mhm.
especially to the teenagers. Am I right?
Yes.
I see. So thank you for your sharing. And then I would like to ask your favor to explain again what is the five sentences that we could do to show our empathy and then provide guidance or support to our children.
Okay, the five sentences. The first is show your appreciation by saying thank you to them after they share to you because we know that it is not easy for someone to open out themselves and that revealing their very private part to you. So first you show your appreciation and then you can show your interest by showing some minimal response like oh yeah, yeah, oh okay, so I feel bad about that. So could you mind to share more about that to me? This is something respond show our interest on that topic so that could feel more comfortable to continue sharing their issues to us. And second one is show your empathy and support by just like show your caring you are care about their feelings, not just about their issues but about this person, what they feel about their problems. Like you can, for example, you if you notice that at that moment maybe he or she feels sad or feel disappointed, you can point it out by saying that oh I feel that you are feeling disappointed towards these problems. Is it like this? You can throw this question to her. Okay, and then afterwards, the third sentences after this empathy and support is you can clarify their actions, what they are going to do next to deal about this issue. Okay, and next, the fourth sentence is you can offer your help to them by asking them, what can you, what can I do to help you? And the last one is giving your suggestions about how you see, or maybe any other better alternative you can offer to them. Yeah, so this is five sentences of the yeah to encourage them to open up, to talk more about that. Yeah, and the most important is through the conversation. At least they can share their emotions out. Once they share their emotions, actually the emotions is already gone.
So another question for these five sentences. Actually, I'm not so agree regarding the express your opinion because every time when I try to share my opinion, like what you should do, or like what what you supposed to do last time, and then my children like they get irritated.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't agree with what I say. So actually, I wonder, is it necessary for us to express our opinion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if just like we back to the fourth the third sentence and fourth sentence. That's why the one of the purpose we clarify their ideas, their actions, and we ask them how can we help them is actually for the purpose we want to know that not only for their emotion. After carrying their emotion, we have to also confirm again what are they going to do next. We have to see whether their behavior, their perspective towards the problems is either appropriate or inappropriate. So at that part, if you find that their opinions or the way they see their problems is actually still acceptable, then it's okay, it's fine. But you find that the problem is you find that maybe the their ideas or their behavior, what action they are going to do is quite inappropriate, then you can voice up your or give your suggestion to them. But the attitude, your attitude, how you tell them your suggestions, because most of the time we just tell them, oh, okay, you can't do this, but you have to tell them why they can't do this. What is your concerns actually behind that? So the important thing is you have to really have a open discussions in order to achieve an agreement between you and your teen children. Yeah.
Okay, I find it very useful. Maybe we can do a small role play regarding these five sentences, and I'll be the teenagers and we will be the parents of the teacher. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So let's say today I got scolded by my teacher, and then I'm so upset. Go home and then I see you as my mother. I can say, Mom, I'm so angry today, lah. So how do you respond?
Okay, for the first sentence, what we have to say is appreciation, right? We have to show our appreciations. Okay, so all right, okay, thank you for telling me that for you are angry. You have done some things in your school, but I don't know what happened to you. Would you mind to tell me more about that? I would like to know. Yes, care. Yes.
I tell you regarding the teacher, she scold me for no reason. I'm not the one who make the noises in the classes, but he blamed me for no reason just because I sleeping in the class. But he blamed me for making noises. I mean, it's not true, but
Alright. Okay, so come to the second one. You can show your empathy. So now you have to see what actually the feelings that your children feel from just now. What you share is actually you can see that she feel angry because you feel unfair. She feel like oh that's not her fault, but maybe the teacher misunderstand her. So you can share about I can feel that you feel very angry because you maybe the teacher misunderstood you. Okay,
so that I
this is
can
the feedback. Yeah, yeah.
okay. So I'm as a teenager, I can tell you that actually if she blamed me for sleeping in class, I'm okay. But the thing is, he blamed me for making noises. So what I do is like I try to ignore her lah, because I don't want to make her make her shame in class. So I try to respect her, even though she didn't. In my opinion, that she didn't make a good example to me. So what do you think?
So at this time, actually, you can also like compliment, give praise to your children for doing for what she has done. And we still remember about the fourth sentence, right? You have to clarify about the ideas and the actions she is going to do. Like you can tell, like ask her if the same things happens for the next time. So what is she going to do to deal with these situations?
Okay, so let's say you ask me what I do to deal with this situation. I would say, maybe next time when she said something to me, I will clarify with her on the spot, and then telling her that I'm not the one who made the noises.
Okay, so this time you have to listen to them, and then you have to, if what the ideas or what the perspective from your children's is actually still can be considered as appropriate. So you can just like give them affirmations and give them compliments. Yeah. So and next for the fourth one. So for come to this time you can ask them if you don't know actually what they need, you can ask them how can you help them, what they need from you, what they expect from you.
Let's say I answer you that I just want someone to listen to me. I just need a listener because I'm very upset. But my friend all laughing to her, are laughing at me. That's why I feel very upset and shame at the same time.
So actually you can see that actually she feel very what she feel is shamed because of the teachers to scold him in front of the other classmates. Okay, so this is what she needs from the emotional support actually. So at this time actually you can think of how you can do to them. What you can do like the support, the emotional support, the empathy support, just like what we have talked before. How you can give appropriate attitude, uh, your feedback attitude to them. Yeah. So come to the last one. Last one is like after you know that what she to the last session. Last question is about like asking, like giving your suggestions. Like if you know that she will feel shamed because of dealing with this situation, so this time you can give your suggestion. Maybe based on what your past experience, how you adjust adjust yourself when you deal with this situation. So what you can do this time, you can show your experience to her.
So I think that's all the question from me. Okay, thank you for sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Josephine, and all the participants. We do hope that this session can give our learners a better understanding in handling adolescents' emotions. Okay. So to all the participants, please click on the link or scan the QR code given at the end of the session for your ESET registration. Thanks again.